Guys, so I'm going to be showing y'all how to make mini pumpkin pies. Just so you know, this recipe makes only half a dozen, including the 2 that are crustless. Anyway, so start off by combining 6 tablespoons of unsalted butter, diced and softened at room temperature, with 3 tablespoons of cold shortening, also diced, 1 1/4 cups of all-purpose flour, half a teaspoon of salt, and yeah, just use your hands to combine, and then add a 1/4 cup of cold water, just a little bit at a time though. In a separate mixing bowl, combine 3 tablespoons and 1 teaspoon of granulated sugar with 1 teaspoon of ground cinnamon, a 1/4 teaspoon of ground ginger, a pinch of salt, half a cup plus 2 tablespoons of pumpkin puree, 2 tablespoons of milk, and 2 eggs. After letting the dough sit in the fridge for an hour, remove it from the fridge and add a little bit of flour. That way it's not so sticky. Just sprinkle a little bit. And yeah, so I'm just going to grab little bits of dough and then we're going to put them in the cupcake liners and then push the center of the dough down with your fingers. Now you're going to fill each of the little pies with the pumpkin mixture up to the rim. Alright, this is how the pre-made pumpkin pies should look. And yeah, you still have a little more of the pumpkin pie filling. Just put it into a cupcake liner by itself, and then you can just have a crustless pumpkin pie. That's what I did so that the rest of the filling wouldn't just go to waste. Anyways, be sure you have your oven preheated at 325 degrees Fahrenheit and put the pies to bake for about 10 minutes or whenever you insert a toothpick into the filling and it comes out clean. And when you try to insert it in the crust as well, but it's like, it's like hard enough that you can't really insert it in. But yeah, so this is how my mini pumpkin pies came out. All right, now moving on to the sweet potato pie. So this is the better version than the sweet potato pie I made last year. So I'm going to say this once, all right? Do not repeat the same mistake I made when I made the sweet potato pie last year. I did not fully cook the sweet potatoes, so that's what impacted the whole taste and everything. So yeah, now you gotta be sure that whether you're cooking it or baking it in the oven, it has to be fully cooked. Like you can insert a knife into the sweet potato and it's so easy. And it's even easy to just peel off the skin. Now this keeps getting better. Unlike last year, the pie crust is homemade. So I started off by combining 2 cups of all-purpose flour with half a teaspoon of salt, 3 tablespoons of shortening, diced, and 6 tablespoons of unsalted butter, also diced and at room temperature in a food processor. Then I added 2 tablespoons of cold water afterwards. After letting the dough sit in the fridge for an hour, you are going to take it out and then put it in a 6-inch springform cake pan. Though if you don't have a 6-inch springform cake pan, then at least use a 6-inch pie pan. Well, because this is only for 6-inch pans. But anyways, so yeah, and you just spread it out. And what I did was I made it look like a deep dish kind of pie. Once the cooked sweet potatoes have cooled down, you can go right on ahead and just smash it. Then add 1 cup of evaporated milk, half a cup of granulated sugar, 2 eggs, 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract, and 3/4 teaspoons of cinnamon, and combine all of them well. Pour the filling over the dough and be sure you have your oven preheated at 400 degrees Fahrenheit. And then just put the pie to bake for 15 minutes at that temperature. And after those 15 minutes go by, you are going to reduce the temperature to 350 degrees and continue baking the pie for another 35 to 40 minutes. Or whenever you insert a toothpick and it comes out clean and it's not so like wobbly when you take it out. Anyway, so this is how my sweet potato pie came out. I am so happy with the way this came out. Hopefully you guys try this recipe out soon.